Venus has finally been direct for a couple of days and out of its retrograde. How's everybody feeling? I feel like I've been born again. That Venus retrograde dragged me, not in a very violent way, but it was still hard. So now that Venus is direct, let's talk about something. Because of where it's currently positioned, and I'm filming this on April 15th, it's with the North Node and with Saturn still in Pisces. So when it comes to the feminine and when it comes to worth, we are really kind of like buckling down and getting specific. What am I worth? How am I going to get there? Because what happens with the retrogrades, and I've explained this before, so if you've heard me say it, I'm going to say it again. What happens with retrogrades is that we go through this reconsideration period, and then when the planet goes direct, especially planets that have longer direct periods like Venus and Mars, we are now in one sort of theme for the next however long until it goes retrograde again. With Venus, it's about a year and a half. So we have now about a year and a half to be focused on whatever this goal-oriented theme of Venus going direct is. What are you worth now? What do you want? How are you going to get there? And because Saturn is with the Pisces energy right now, it's with the North Node, it's with Venus, we can get really specific. Venus and Saturn, while it's kind of a difficult combination, it is some of the most fertile energy for having your manifestations actually happen. And having them actually happen in the time that you kind of decide on. Sometimes in the spirit, we put together manifestations or we ask for things and then we kind of have to just go with the flow. But with Venus and Saturn together, it's like I will go with the flow and I'm getting it done in the way that I need to get it done. So the time can be more up to your control. Thank the gods. Thank the gods! That's really how I feel about that one, yeah. So you may find yourself plotting and planning. One of the other things about Venus going direct that I find kind of interesting is that in this direct period, before it goes retrograde again and we're still focused on the same theme, we don't ever get fully all the way to the end with our Venus manifestation. It is just a part of the law of Venus. We don't ever make it exactly to the end of what we want. So one of the things I like to do with Venus manifestations and while Venus is direct and like at the beginning of this period is to kind of shoot for a way bigger goal than I think I'm gonna make. I'm gonna get something that's like far beyond my reaches. If I make it there, miraculous, love that. If not, I did really good and I've already done something that's already beyond where I am. Part of the reason for this is because Venus, the planet, the way that it turns, its year, so its orbit around the sun, is shorter than its day, the spin of the planet, which is crazy to me. So we don't ever, since the day is shorter, oh my goodness, let's break it down. Since the day is shorter, we don't have a full rotation before we get through a full entire yearly cycle. So there's always something left. There's always something else. There's always something untouched when it comes to the Venus energy. It's the only planet that does that. And because that's the truth, if we shoot for beyond what we think we're going to actually achieve, we'll land still in a pretty happy place. And then the retrograde happens, we reconsider some things, we figure out maybe that actual goal wasn't what I wanted in the first place on its totality or specificity. Now I can rethink it. Where do I want to go? In this position that I've created for myself here. And again, since we're at the beginning of this and Venus is with Saturn and the North Node, we could get really specific and we could do really terrific. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up your brew. Keep doing what you need to do. I, at the beginning of Venus Direct, usually will set some kind of like manifestations or goals or do some magic or do something to get myself oriented for this next traveling of what I'm worth and the work I'm going to do for that. So I do, as somebody who practices it, highly recommend it. Sometime within the next couple of weeks is like a good time frame to do that. Venus will re-enter Aries on April 30th and will be in Taurus season at that time when it does re-enter Aries from the retrograde. So we're going to be in a Venus-ruled season. So this is going to be kind of thematic no matter your placements. It's something that's going to be influencing everybody kind of in a big way because we're going into a Venus season. So enjoy the ride. And on whatever you decide, also enjoy that ride because it'll be about, again, a year and a half until we get to the goal. And then we turn around and say, how did I do? What else could I achieve? What else could I receive? Thanks, Venus. That's true. So I'll talk to you soon. Keep up the brew and I will too.